Begin where we began yesterday and continue on. There was a lot of discussion. 3 lines from the bottom on page AyinBase 9. So without any further introduction, because we already discussed it many times, omnom, however, or in truth, we say this is machshava hagduma. This machshava hagduma is called machshava what ola b'machshava. Even though it is keduma, keduma means this is pristine. It always was, so to speak. Nevertheless, it's called ola b'machshava. It came up in thought. Eitzel mi ola machshava zu. By whom did this machshava come up? Harezehu in form of speech. Is it not that this is Eitzel Oire Soiv Atzmus Umehus? It is by the Oire Soiv Atzmus Umehus. Shalamai Lamigeder Shem Odom Lagamri. That is completely above of the gather of the principle of the term Odom. Odom, we said, incorporates everything. But he incorporates everything by his presence. This is Atzmus Umehus, which is above presence. The love mikol ine midesihu klal, and he is totally not composed, not related to these mides, to his measurements. Shehu kadmoin l'chol hagdum, for he is kadmoin, precedent for all the precedents, before all precedents. This is, as we mentioned yesterday, this is what the Rambam is expressing in this simple term. There is motzui rishoin. Motzui rishoin means there is nothing prior. And the term motzui is really just a form of speech. As we explained yesterday, there is atzmus umehus. Mahus means the reality itself. And he is kadma l'chol hagdum. And this is where this machshava arose. For whatever reason, whatever cause, whatever brought it out, in this kadma l'chol hagdum, there is the thought for Odom. V'harei, and thus, Odom zeh, this Odom, this machshava hagdum, which is called Odom kadmoin, hu b'tzel emelekim, shechoshav machshava zu. He is b'tzel emelekim, presented or present b'tzel emelekim in this godly form. Shechoshav machshava zu, who thought this machshava. Again, we are faced with an inexplicable principle, but nevertheless, since that he thought this machshava without any compelling external cause, this is something which arose from on his own volition, his own choice. He thought of this machshava. Therefore, if he thought of this machshava, it reflects on him. B'tzal malakim shechoshav machshava zu. Okay, we'll just continue on because to discuss this, we already did to some extent. It's endless. V'yuvon zeh, and this will be understood במכל שכן, בדרך מכל שכן מהאדם שלמטה. By using the Adam Shalamata, the human being he below, and saying Mikol Shkin, that if this is so by the human being he below, surely it is on a higher level. So this or human being he lamata, Shuhu Yesh Mi'ayin. There is a creation Yesh Mi'ayin. And Yesh Mi'ayin is are in totally different domains. So it be erg totally.
Can I ask one question?
If you feel it's suitable at this moment, yes.
I'll wait.
Yes?
Go
ahead.
This that we said that the by whom did it thought arise? Atzilus, Ayin Seif Atzilus Malus. This is still not what we. This is still. In other words, we said that Atzilus is not shaykh to Gilui at all, and the Machshava is a certain Gilui.
Atzilus is not shaykh to Gilui at all, but by will, the Gilui came. There's nothing compelling about this Machshava.
Even that will, that's not considered Gilui.
That will is volition also.
Okay, that's
never. You're going to go in circles over here.
Okay. But that's what Ayin Seif Atzilus Malus.
The volition of Gilui means that it is that this Gilui is reflective of something of his own truth. But it's not compelling. Clearly we're trading on very, very soft ground.
You might fall in.
Huh?
You might fall in.
We're not going to fall in Chas v'Sholem, but we have to understand that it's only our Chochem that's going to hold us up. Otherwise, we have nothing to hold on to. I was reflecting this morning yet already. What is this world? What is this Metzius? The world has no basis for being. There's nothing compelling about the world that if it's here now, it has to be here next moment. It is there only because Hashem wants it to be. Therefore, it sounds like it's a very precarious existence. I want, I don't want, I want, I don't want. However, who wants it? Who is the one who wants it? That changes the whole perspective. On its own, it's totally not compelling. But who wants it? Asmus umahus. It's motivation. We don't even attempt. I mean, clearly it is foolish to attempt. But you have to understand there is this. The one thing to us is compelling that there is this primary truth. He wants it. I may always quote the Ibn Ezra. Lately I've been looking more than the Ibn Ezra in the Chumash. He has very short, bubbles, what it's called Two words. And so he said, Kei lecha bro'ani v'omar chayoni. I quote this all the time from this. The one God created me, and He said I'm alive. How do I know that I'm alive? Not because of my own experience. That's an insignificant presence. Omar chayomi, He said you're alive. Therefore, I'm really alive.
And it's really significant because of who's saying it.
That's right. That's what the Rebbe says. Mi Omar, mi be'etzel mi olam machshavos. And therefore, this machshava akduma is betzelem what of the one to whom the machshava came up. It is real. It is not precarious. Because all the machshavos do is etzel mi in the Ayin himself. Because he mihadam shalamato. Can anyone know how to? Is there a slogan to translate Mikolshkin?
How much more so?
That's not a slogan. Mikolshkin. There is no such animals, in the English language.
A good translation.
Yeah,
In the English language?
in English, I'm talking about translation. We have to find some genius. Mikolshkin. B'derech Mikolshkin means in a compelling way, by comparison. Me'odam shalamat, from the human being here below, shehu yesh me'ayin. This odam lamato is yesh me'ayin. This is exactly what we just said a moment ago. He's a yesh, he's a present me'ayin from ayin, which means that even though he's a presence, there's nothing about him that's compelling that he should be. He's there because the Ayin wants him to be. He has no element that on his own that maintains his presence, that compels his presence. And yet, even though he's Yesh Me'ayin, totally distant from the truth, from the Ayin that made him. Yet hinehu b'tzelem elikim shaboro isay. Yet he is b'tzelem elikim who created him. As I mentioned, always the posuk. It's important to Naase Odom. This is the word from the posuk. Naase Odom. Let us make men b'tzalmeinu kidmuseinu, in our form, in our likeness. V'yirdu, and they will rule the whole world. How will they rule the whole world? They will rule the whole world because they have our form, they have our likeness. They will not have to fight for their position in the world. This is what they stand. All the creatures and whole haaretz in the entire world. By today, in these thousands of years, there's probably not one area in the world that human beings haven't examined. Kol shekain, thus certainly, how much more so, bechinas Adam di Briah the klalus, this aspect of Adam di Briah the klalus. Let me give it's a little bit of a meaning to the word the Briah the klalus. Excuse me. It's atzilus, Briah, Yitzira, and Asiya. Atzilus does not really present itself as a world. Atzilus is tending upwards. It stays close to its source. Briah is already making itself known. This making itself known is on a very fundamental level. Let me take the moment and get us a little bit of a handle. This house stands on the ground. This ground pre-existed the house. Where the ground was initially, before this whole area was developed, this piece of land was part of the globe. It was not an inhabitable, it was not even thought of it as an inhabitable place. It was part of the globe. You could not think of any particular plot in it. It's a part of the entire globe. Once it has been cleared up and developed with intent to inhabit, all of a sudden, now you have plots. Now you can at least conceive of plots of an area. This is what, this plotting, this is what provides the ability to think, okay, what am I going to do over here? When it was a wilderness, you couldn't even think in those terms. It did not speak in terms of what am I going to do with it. It's there. The Briah is this which provides for the thought, what am I going to do with it? It's probably, not probably, it is the most important element in the entire process of development. Which is why land, a house, is called real estate. Real estate is actually an extension of the Lashon and Gemara, Mechosim sheyesh behem acharayis. Mechosim sheyesh lam acharayis. You know this term? Everybody knows this term? Mechosim sheyesh lam acharayis. Huh? You heard it. Mechosim sheyesh lam acharayis means mechosim, property that do not dissipate. Acharayis means they're self-insured. The entire development is because ultimately there is that self-insured element upon which you can build and build and build. If you don't have that self-insured element, then you don't have that. Then everything is precarious. You know that you have a house. Tomorrow you'll come here. It's going to still be here. Not because the whole place is going to dissipate. No acharayis. This Briah element that says, yes, indeed, there is this place, and this place is intended for development. So when the development takes place, it takes place in the real estate domain. people own houses. In Crown Heights, Baruch Hashem, these days, throughout the year, but particularly these days, you see people strip down the house to the bare walls and rebuild it completely on the inside. According to the way people live today, a complete, and yet, so why did you have? You have a house. No. What I had is this real estate element. That is the most important thing. Once you have this real estate, the design and all that Tishrei, you see, that can change. But the real estate, that is what you really have. So then there's Briah, the protis, Briah, the atzilus, Briah, Yitzhak, and then there is what's called Briah the klalus. Briah the klalus is this machshava akduma, the thought that there should be a world altogether. Is it a reality that there should be a world altogether? Not if there is Yitzhak by sea or so forth. Should there be anything?
That's machshava akduma.
That's that's called Briah the klalus. At a much higher level, but it has the principles of Briah. Kosh came bechinas Adam, the Briah the klalus. Surely this aspect of Adam. I'm not going to go into bechinas again. I translated it many times. This is, I'll leave it up to you to understand where this comes in. Adam, the Briah the klalus. Again, why is it called Adam? It's called Adam, as we said yesterday, Adam, because Adam encompasses everything. Adam is that element in the entire creation to whom a concept is real. Doesn't need a tangible presence. As I pointed out, on the contrary, a table to the human being is a concept, not a tangible thing. She'ola b'machshavtoi debchinas Ein Sof kadmin l'chol hagdum. This Adam Briah arose in the thought of Ein Sof kadmin l'chol hagdum. And this Adam arose in the thought of kadmin l'chol hagdum. Surely that he would be b'tzelem. Surely he would be in the tzelem, in the form of the bechinas elikim shechosha machshava. The bechina of elikim who thought of this machshava. If Adam lamato, who is yesh mei ayin, who has a real presence, and yet he is b'tzelem elikim. Surely this Adam the Briah the klalus, which clearly has much more conceptual reality, surely that is B'Tselem Elikim, Shechosha Machshava. V'hagam, and although the Richug Ho'erech, the Bechinas Machshava Akduma. Okay, here's a very important point. Although that the Richug Ho'erech, that the distance in terms of meaning, of proximity, of presence, the Bechinas Machshava Akduma, of this Machshava Akduma, Legabe, relative Oirin Sof Kadmel Chagdum, relative to Oirin Sof Kadmel Chagdum, which is the Kadmel. This distance between Oirin Sof Kadmel Chagdum to the Machshava Akduma is greater. Hu Yesed is a greater distance. Mehorichuk Erech than the distance in comparison Odom Shalamato Lagabi Odom Ha'elin Atzilus. Odom Lamato Lagabi Odom Ha'elin Atzilus. Okay. What would be the principle that would let us, that would give us, so to speak, an inkling of what this is about? Machshava Hagduma, Oirin Soif, Kadma Chol Hagdumim, did not come into being, regardless of where Kadma Chol Hagdumim. Machshava Hagduma is representative of that which is Kadman, but it came into being. All the Machshava Su'it arose in Meshach. That which came into being versus that which did not come into being, there is no way to compare them. Odom Shalamat and Odom Ha'elin Atzilus, yes, they shall be, but they have this one commonality.
What's that?
They came into being.
The Adon Ayin?
Yeah. Let's take any simple concept. 1 and 1 is 2. This 1 and 1 is 2. One can argue this is a fundamental truth. Didn't have to be created. It did not need to be identified. Whether you know about it or not, this is the reality. 1 and 1 is 2. Whether you know it or not, that's how it is. Therefore, this is like a kadmon, right? What is, in fact, this kadmon? How do we, in our little brain, conceptualize this kadmon? It's quite a feat. What's the answer? Kadmon, there's no 2. There's no 1 and there's no 1 and 1, there's no 2. Therefore, this whole concept doesn't exist. This concept was created in the creation of the world. Like we said the other day, once we discussed about at length, Loi Signoiv is a mitzvah here in this world. In truth, the way it is Lamaila, that whole possibility doesn't exist. Because there's no multiplicity. Therefore, this is what you're saying, the Richug Ho'erech of Machshava HaGeduma to the Ayin Soif Shechosh Machshava Zu Yishalei B'Erech, greater distance than the Odom Shalamata and Odom Ha'elin Atzilus. Okay, I guess this is where we are interrupting. Have a great day.
I think we'll do, for bringing the Shabbos at my sukkah, if that's okay with everybody.
Sama